So it's taken me over a year to finally get my van built and finished, but it's not quite finished just yet. Over a year later, finally, at last, I've managed to get myself a compressor fridge. Oh yeah, it's starting to rain. So let's get in the van, get this out of the box, and I'll show you what I've got. I really am pleased. Finally, at last. Put my headphones down there. Right, you can probably hear it's raining. So this is going to be a bit tight for space. Now, like I say, I've wanted one of these fridges for a long time, ever since I very first built this van. And the reason I've wanted one of these fridges is because they've got a freezer compartment. So that means, because it's got a freezer compartment, I can now keep ice cream in my van. Because my inner fat kid just needs ice cream. I can't survive without a freezer. I've just come to the conclusion that having a freezer is a must. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Hang on, let's put it down here. Oh, there it is. I was a bit worried because that box looks really big, and I'm thinking, have I got my measurements right? I've got to say, it is well packed. Let's get it up here so you can see it. This just means so much to me, honestly. It's a massive milestone. I want to get it out of here without making too much mess with polystyrene. I do not want polystyrene everywhere in my van. So let's have a look. It doesn't look like it's got any damaging. Everything looks in order. Look at that. Now, the real nice thing about these Dometic CRX-50 is the freezer compartment's at the top, but they got a nice neat little trick. You can take this drawer out, then the whole thing becomes a freezer. So if you were really flash, you could have two of these, set one up as a fridge and one up as a freezer. But for me, as long as my little tubs of ice cream fit in the top of there, I'm going to be happy. Here you go. But it looks okay. Everything's there. Instructions are there. So I guess all I can... Oh, it's fallen off the table. Before I take everything out, because I need to take the door off of my compartment, before I do any of that, and before I change the door, because I want this door to open on this side, I want it hinged so it opens that way. Yeah, before I do any of that, I'm going to actually plug it in and make sure it works. Right, so I've wired up this 12-volt socket to the fridge. This is just to try it out. This isn't permanent. I just want to make sure the fridge works before I start modifying it. So I've got my little POWEROAK here. Hopefully this little fella should work. I'll just plug that in. Switch it on. Fingers crossed. It works. It's kicking in. It's so quiet. It's just a whisper. But the only noise really... Yeah, it's the compressor that's making a little humming noise. And it's got this little fan as well. And it's drawing, out of interest for those of you that are going to ask, 42 watts. I've no idea what that equates to in amps, but I'm sure someone will know. leave a comment in the description of this video. So it's drawing 42 watts with the compressor running, and once it's down to temperature it should just cut off, so it's not using any electricity at all. Oh, look at that, it's got a light and everything. Look at this. I mean, this is a proper, it's like a fridge in your house basically. It's pretty much the same as a small fridge you'd have at home in a house. So my van really is starting to be a very small cottage-like dwelling now, which is what I wanted it to be. Yeah, that's brilliant. So I've taken my door off, I've taken my toolbox, my cool box out, my cool box now gone. I've had to take this little step off the bottom. I put this there to stop my cool box from flying out when I went round corners, and I did that before I made the door. The door was a secondary fault, it was like an afterthought putting that door on, just to tidy it up a little bit. So anyway, the step's gone, so now my fridge should slide straight in that gap if I got my measurements right. Right, let's have a go. Let's see how well it fits. Oh. Now the only problem I can see is that my flooring, I've not actually put all the way through in there, so there's going to be a bit of a step down. So yeah, I'm going to have to put something on the floor in there. Yeah, anyway, let's see if it fits. Let's just put that up against there. Oh, look at that. That's precision engineering, that is. Oh yes, there is a gap at the top, that's because it's dropped down. But it fits, that's the main thing. So now what I've got to do is make a few modifications. A bit more light. Right. Oh dear. Oh, I'm definitely getting too old for this. Nah. Oh, look at that. I think that should give us adequate ventilation. That's a massive hole. I did it from both sides in the end. I did a little way that side and then a little way this side. That way gives me a nice finish. All right, let's take that off. Don't want any accidents. So there we go, that's my cupboard, pretty much prepped. I've got my massive great big hole up there. That should be more than big enough to draw air in to cool the fridge. And I've got my little fan down here as well. And when that's on, that's going to draw air from there. So it should cause a nice cross flow of air. So all I've got to do now is swap the door over, because I want the door to open on the other side. And then once I've done that, I can install it. Right, so let's take a look at this. I want to swap this door around. At the moment, it's hinged on this side, but I want it to open on this side. It's got these little plastic lugs, top and bottom, so it shouldn't be too difficult to do. Just need my trusty torque bits. So for those of you who are interested, that's a T20 you need to take this little plastic cover off. So once that plastic cover's off, now I guess we can swap the hinges over. These aren't machined, these are just forced in. I think that it's just a pilot hole, and then when they're manufactured, going by the way this is coming out, look, it's just forced in. They're not machined in. That's pretty cheap really for them to do that. These are just self-tappers. Self-tapping screws in a fridge that costs that sort of money. That's quite disappointing. I thought these would have been machined in. Yeah, that is very disappointing. I thought it would have been better quality than that. Oh well, I guess it is what it is. So now I'm ready to fit my fridge. I'm going to slide my fridge back in there, but here's the problem. The cable is quite short, and the bulkhead here, there's a small hole right back here, so I need to kind of thread that through the hole. But I can't do that because I can't get my hand in there and the fridge at the same time. Rather than struggle trying to get under there, I'm going to remove my seat. I'm glad I made this so it's easy to remove now. I really am. So I'm going to clear all this off of here, lift my seat up, and then slide the cable through, make all the connections, connect up my fan as well. Yeah, let's do it. Oh crap, where am I going to put all this stuff? Outside, you can't put anything outside. But yeah, this should just lift off. See, there's a reason I made this removable. Oh, I wonder where I put that. Oh, there's my pen. So this is where my fridge is going to connect up. Oh dear, I need to get a brush in there. Right. Thread that through there. Like that. Tape that to that. Right. Someone having a sticky beak. Take that off of there. That's it. Now that should go in now. It's a tight fit. God dear. Made that a little bit too precise, I think. Uh-oh. Might have a problem. Oh, look at that, it's perfect. Don't like this. Here you go, the door opens, it clears the bulkhead there, just how I planned it. that was a bit of luck, really. I nearly swore then, that's brilliant, that is. I'm so chuffed. There you go, I've got plenty of wire through there to join up there. So now I can join this fridge up to those wires. My little fan, I can reconnect that. I've got a little switch on this fan so I can turn the fan on and off. So it's not on permanently. I need to attach that better really, that was up there like that. So yeah, just reconnect all that lot. Happy days. I love it. I love it when a plan comes together. Well, I'm just going to connect those up, back in a minute. I've put screws inside it. There are little lugs that you have to take out, these. But I'll tell you what, they're really tight. Look at the mess it's made of that one. I made a right mess of it, and this one. You have to pop these out and then put screws through the side of the actual fridge to the outside to screw it in place. I think that is the only way you're going to fit it, unless you put brackets on it. I don't know. Yeah, I'll bring you down and I'll show you what I mean. So this is where the screws go. There's one at the top and one at the bottom on each side. I've only put a screw in the top. I think that's all I need to do. I'm not going to put one in the bottom because it did make quite a bit of a mess. So yeah, but it does come. I've just noticed. I've just spotted this out the corner of my eye. There's a little pack there, a couple of extra caps. So I'll probably pop those back in just to cover those screws. And I've used stainless steel screws as well so they don't go rusty. So if ever I need to remove it, I know I'm going to be able to remove it without too much of a drama. There you are, there's my little temperature gauge there. I absolutely love this thing. Now all I've got to do is take all these little sticker things off. This is all part of the packaging, I guess, to stop things rattling around. Take these off. There we go, there's one there as well. Just get all these off. And that's it, it's pretty much done. All I've got to do now is go and get some ice cream. I won't do that till later. I'm not going to go to the shops just to get ice cream and some beer. So there you have it. That's my little Dometic fridge. I'm so pleased. I really am pleased with it. Now all I've got to do is clean this mess up. But before I go, I just want to say a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. And thank you all for all your support throughout 2020. It's been an absolutely horrible year. But let's hope 2021 things improve. Well, thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now. Merry Christmas.